Hey everyone, we're going to be learning about one form today, but it's actually like 3 forms. But the good news is that you only really need to learn one of them, and that's the simplest version. The first verb ending we're going to learn is nya, and the way it works is very simple. You take a verb stem and then you attach nya, and you're done. Well, there is one exception. If the verb stem ends with this letter, you remove it first. So, 살다, to live. That ends in that letter. So once you get the verb stem, you get 사냐. The reason for that is just because this letter and this letter are never getting along. But besides that, there are no exceptions. Now, what is this form? Well, it is a question ending. So you can just kind of think that there's a question mark at the end. And it is 반말 when you use this as is. In fact, you won't even use this to your friends who are older than you, who tell you that it's okay to speak casually to them. Because this type of casual speech is a different type, which is kind of like you're talking down to someone. You can use this toward anyone you're speaking casually with who's the same age as you or younger, but not to people who are older than you. So it is a very strong sounding question. It's not like saying, do you think, could it possibly be? By chance, might it? Could it be? No, this is like, 춥냐? You cold? Are you a little cold today? Did you forget your blanket? 춥냐? 좋아하다. 좋아하냐? You like that? 좋아하냐? You actually like that? Like that. It sounds so obnoxious. I'm sorry. It has a strong nuance. It's kind of like the ending ni, which we learned about before, but ni has a soft nuance, whereas this does not have a soft nuance. It is stronger. So it can still be a bit friendly because you're not going to be using it to strangers, but it is a stronger ending. So let me give you a couple really quick examples. 어디 사냐? So this is the verb 살다, to live. 어디, where? 어디 사냐? Where do you live? 어디 사냐? But this isn't like, might I inquire the whereabouts of thine abode? This is like, where you live. 어디 사냐? Where do you live? This one is the verb 이다, to be. So 이다, again, you just take the verb stem, 이냐. 내일, tomorrow. 내일이 무슨? 무슨 means what? And it's an adjective. That means it has to be followed by a noun. 내일이 무슨? 요일. 요일 is the day of the week. 내일이 무슨 요일이냐? So what day of the week is tomorrow? 내일이 무슨 요일이냐? So what day of the week is tomorrow? The verb stem you use can also be a past tense verb stem. You just take the verb stem and attach 냐. For example, 다 했냐? 다 했어요, basically. Did you finish it? Did you do all of it? 다 했냐? Did you finish? 다 했냐? Did you finish it? You are now masters. But there's actually a little bit more to using 냐. Now, you actually don't need to know this because in modern Korean that you'll hear every day, that's the extent of how you use 냐. But technically, there are 2 more forms we have to learn that also end with 냐, but that are no longer commonly used. And the only time you will see these other 2 forms is in like older or fancier written Korean, or maybe in speech if it's like an older movie or it's an older character. Pretty much then, anytime you want to make this ending, just use 냐 exactly like we learned. But here is how to actually use the form in its complete detail. If you are using an action verb stem, you're not supposed to attach 냐 to the end. Any action verb is supposed to actually attach 느냐 to the verb stem. And there are a couple exceptions. Again, if it ends with this letter, you remove it. So we get 살다, to live, we remove it, and then we attach 느냐, 사느냐. And one more exception is the verb 있다, as well as the verb 없다. So these ones also become 있느냐 and 없느냐. Those are the only exceptions that we have to use when we're working with action verbs. Let me give you a few example sentences. 무슨, what, an adjective, 색, a color, 무슨 색을 좋아하느냐. So what color do you like? It has a strong nuance. So instead of just 냐, which is what you'll actually use, technically, it's supposed to be 느냐. 무슨 색을 좋아하느냐. So what color do you like? 시험은, so the test. 언제, when, 보다, to see. In this case, it's to take a test. 시험은 언제 보느냐? So when are you gonna take the test? 시험은 언제 보느냐? When are you taking the test? 하나만, only one. 사다, in this case, to buy. 사느냐? So are you only buying one? Are you buying only one? 하나만 사느냐? 혼자 왔느냐? In this case, 오다 is to come here. So 혼자, alone. So did you come here alone? 혼자 왔느냐? Notice that it's a past tense, but you still just attach 느냐. 혼자 왔느냐? Did you come here alone? Now let's talk about descriptive verbs. You're not going to see this used much either, but technically, it's correct. Normally, if your descriptive verb ends with a consonant, you'll attach 으냐 after the stem. Or if the descriptive verb ends with a vowel, you'll attach 냐. There are some exceptions though. If the verb stem ends with this letter again, for example, the verb 멀다, to be far, after you get the stem, you remove it, and then you look at this and attach it how it's supposed to be. So 뭐냐. If it ends with a P, well, what do you normally do with this letter? P. You normally remove it, right? And you attach 우. So, 추, 우, and then we look at this and attach it. 냐, 추냐. And there are more exceptions. If you want to use the past tense of a descriptive verb, you actually can't. If you want to use the future tense, you can't. You actually just have to use 느냐 for both of these. So what that means is the only time you need to use 으냐 or 냐 with a descriptive verb is if it's in the present tense. Past tense and future tense will go back to using 느냐. So let me give you a few quick examples. So if we have the verb 바쁘다, to be busy, it ends in a vowel. So we just attach 냐. We're done. But what if we wanted to do the past tense? Was busy. So were you busy? Normally it's like 바빴어요. So we get 바빴. But then because it's the past tense, 바빴느냐. Were you busy? So let me give you a few example sentences. 지금, right now, 어디냐? 어디 is where. 냐 is 이다, but after a vowel, you just can say 냐. 지금 어디냐? So where are you now? 지금 어디냐? Again, this is the same as the first form we did, but that's only because it is ending with a vowel already anyway. 발이, your foot, 발. 이 괜찮으냐? 괜찮다, to be okay. 발이 괜찮으냐? So is your foot okay? 발이 괜찮으냐? 으냐, because it ends with a consonant here, the 히읗, 으냐. 이 길, this street. 이 길은 항상, always. 더럽다, to be dirty. In this case, we have to remove the piep and add u. So 더러우, and then we attach 냐 because it ends in a vowel. 더러우냐. So is it dirty? Always, this street. 이 길은 항상 더러우냐? In modern Korean, in most conversations today, you're just going to hear 이 길은 항상 더럽냐? But technically, it's supposed to be 이 길은 항상 더러우냐? 어리다 is to be very young. 어릴 때, literally when you were young, but it's more like when you were a child. 어릴 때, 꿈, a dream. 꿈도 was your dream also as a child. 이었느냐. In this case, 이다, to be, past tense, 이었어요. 느냐, 이었느냐. So was your dream also as a child a 선생님, a teacher. So when you were a child, was your dream also to be a teacher? 어릴 때 꿈도 선생님이었느냐? And that is our lesson. Thank you everyone for coming, and I will see you again next time. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.